Every single morning, 2.25 billion cups of coffee are consumed around the world. It is the most popular psychoactive drug on the planet. For most of us over 60, it is not just a drink. It is a lifeline. It is the switch that turns on the engine. We wake up, we stumble to the kitchen, and we brew that dark, bitter liquid. We drink it black or maybe with a splash of milk, and we think we are ready for the day. But I have a question for you. Is your coffee working for you, or is it slowly working against you? If you are drinking what I call naked coffee, just plain bean water, you are missing perhaps the single greatest opportunity for health intervention in your daily life. You see, coffee is powerful, but it is chemically incomplete. It is like a high-performance engine without oil. It runs fast, but it creates friction. In this documentary, I am going to teach you how to dress your coffee. We are going to explore the concept of nutrient stacking. I will show you how adding one specific spoonful of powder can transform your morning cup from a simple stimulant into a complex medicine that repairs your arteries, stabilizes your blood sugar, and shields your aging brain. But before we can fix your coffee, we must understand what it is actually doing to your body. Let's dive into the microscopic world of your neurons. Why does coffee wake you up? Most people think caffeine gives you energy. This is a myth. Caffeine does not give you energy, it borrows it. Inside your brain, there is a chemical called adenosine. Think of adenosine as sleep dust. From the moment you wake up, adenosine starts building up in your brain. When it attaches to its receptors, you feel tired. It is your body's way of saying slow down. Caffeine is a master of disguise. Molecularly, it looks almost exactly like adenosine. So when you drink coffee, the caffeine travels to your brain and sits in those receptor chairs. It blocks the adenosine from sitting down. The result? The sleep signal is blocked. Your brain thinks it is wide awake. But here's the problem for the senior brain. When you're 20, your body clears caffeine quickly, but after 60, your liver function slows down. The enzyme responsible for breaking down caffeine, called CYP1A2, becomes less efficient. This means the caffeine stays in your system longer, and while it's there, it triggers your adrenal glands to release cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. A little bit is good. It gets you moving. But naked coffee on an empty stomach can cause a massive cortisol spike. For a senior body, high cortisol is dangerous. It raises your blood pressure, it tightens your blood vessels, and it creates anxiety. It puts your body in a state of fight or flight before you have even had breakfast. So, we have a dilemma. We love coffee, we need the alertness, but we do not want the stress, the jitters, or the vascular tension. How do we solve this? The solution is not to stop drinking coffee. The solution is to change its chemistry. Coffee is naturally acidic. It's a vasoconstrictor, meaning it can tighten your blood vessels slightly. To turn this into a longevity tonic, we need to add compounds that do the opposite. We need ingredients that are vasodilators, things that open up the blood vessels. We need anti-inflammatories to calm the cortisol response, and we need antioxidants to repair the cell damage. We call this the Activator Protocol. We are going to introduce 3 powerful agents into your cup, one for your heart, one for your blood sugar, and one for your brain. The first agent is a dark powder that ancient civilizations called the food of the gods, but you probably know it as the main ingredient in chocolate. However, do not run to the pantry for your hot chocolate mix. That is sugar. I'm talking about something much more potent. I'm talking about the medical-grade power of theobromine and flavanols. Let's enter phase 2, the arterial repair. This brings us to the first activator, the vascular repair agent. I am talking about raw cacao powder. Notice that I did not say chocolate, and I definitely did not say Dutch processed cocoa. This distinction is critical. If you buy the standard baking cocoa from the baking aisle, you are likely buying a dead product. Most commercial cocoa has been alkalized. They wash the beans in a potassium carbonate solution to reduce the bitterness and make it darker. This makes it taste smoother, but it destroys up to 90% of the medicinal compounds. You need to look for raw, non-alkalized cacao powder. It is lighter in color, it is bitter, it tastes like earth. And that bitterness is exactly what we want. That bitterness is the taste of flavonols. Flavonols are a class of plant antioxidants that perform a very specific engineering task inside your body. To understand this task, we need to take a journey inside your arteries. Imagine your blood vessels are like garden hoses. On the inside of that hose, there is a thin, delicate lining called the endothelium. The endothelium is only one cell thick, but it is one of the most important organs in the human body. It acts like a Teflon coating. It ensures your blood flows smoothly without sticking or clotting. When you are young, your endothelium is flexible. It expands and contracts easily. But as we age, this lining becomes damaged. It gets scratched by high blood pressure. It gets inflamed by sugar. It becomes stiff. This is what we call hardening of the arteries. When your arteries are stiff, your heart has to pump harder to push the blood through. This raises your blood pressure and tires out the heart muscle. This is where the coffee and cacao combination becomes a medical miracle. Remember that caffeine naturally tightens the blood vessels, but the flavonols in cacao do the exact opposite. When you drink raw cacao, those flavonols travel to the endothelium. They stimulate an enzyme called endothelial nitric oxide synthase. This enzyme triggers your cells to release a gas called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a vasodilator. It tells the muscles around your arteries to relax, to let go, to open up. So visualize what happens when you mix them. The coffee wakes up your brain, but the cacao relaxes your arteries. You get the mental alertness without the vascular stress. You get the flow without the friction. Studies published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology have shown that high flavonol cocoa can improve blood vessel function by 47%. That is almost as effective as some pharmaceutical interventions, but without the side effects. So here is your first instruction. To your morning cup, add 1 full teaspoon of raw, non-alkalized cacao powder. But cacao is bitter, and your coffee is bitter. Your instinct will be to reach for the sugar bowl to make it palatable. Stop, put the sugar down. Adding sugar to this mixture is like pouring sand into your gas tank. Sugar causes inflammation. It damages the very endothelium we are trying to repair. So how do we sweeten the coffee, protect the liver, and control insulin all at the same time? This brings us to the second activator, the metabolic stabilizer, a spice that was once worth more than gold. I am talking about cinnamon, but not just any cinnamon. Most people do not realize that there are 2 completely different species of this spice, and one of them, if taken in large quantities every day, can actually be toxic to your liver. The cinnamon you likely have in your kitchen right now is called cassia cinnamon. It is the cheap stuff found in most supermarkets. It has a strong, spicy kick. Cassia contains a compound called coumarin. In small doses, it is fine, but if you put a spoonful of cassia in your coffee every single day, the coumarin can accumulate in your tissues. For a senior liver that is already working hard to filter medications and toxins, this extra stress is unnecessary. You need to find Ceylon cinnamon. It is often called true cinnamon. It comes from Sri Lanka. It is lighter in color, it has a delicate floral aroma, and most importantly, it has almost zero coumarin. It is safe to use as a daily medicine. And make no mistake, it is medicine. The active compound in cinnamon is called cinnamaldehyde. When this compound enters your bloodstream, it performs a biological trick that is essential for anyone over 60. It mimics insulin. To understand why this matters, we need to look at the insulin lock. Every cell in your body has a door. This door must open to let sugar, or glucose, inside to be burned for energy. Insulin is the key that unlocks that door. When you are young, the lock is clean. The key turns easily. You eat sugar, insulin unlocks the door, the sugar enters the cell, and you have energy. But after decades of eating processed carbs, bread and pasta, the lock gets rusty. We call this insulin resistance. The key gets stuck. The door stays closed. So the sugar stays in your blood. It floats around, creating inflammation and caramelizing your proteins. This is what destroys your kidneys, your eyes, and your nerves. This is where the cinnamon in your coffee comes in. Cinnamaldehyde acts like a master key. It helps to jiggle the rusty lock. It increases insulin sensitivity. It makes your cells more willing to open the door. Studies have shown that half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon per day can lower fasting blood sugar levels by up to 29%. Think about that. Just by adding a spice to your morning routine, you are helping to clear the dangerous glucose from your bloodstream before it can do damage. So we have the cacao to relax the arteries. We have the cinnamon to unlock the cells and provide sweetness without the poison of sugar. But there is one more problem we need to solve. The senior brain is prone to rust. Oxidative stress and inflammation are constantly attacking your neurons, leading to fog, forgetfulness, and eventually decline. We need a shield. We need something that stops inflammation in its tracks. We need the third activator, the golden shield. But there is a catch. This next ingredient is perhaps the most powerful anti-inflammatory on Earth. But if you just stir it into your coffee, your body will flush it out instantly. It needs a special key to be absorbed. The third activator is turmeric, or more specifically, the active compound within it, called curcumin. You have likely heard of turmeric. It is the bright yellow spice used in curry. It has been used in Ayurvedic medicine for thousands of years. Modern science has confirmed why. Curcumin is a potent inhibitor of inflammation. It blocks a molecule called NF-kappa B. This molecule is like a switch that turns on inflammation inside your cells. Curcumin turns that switch off. For a senior brain, where inflammation is the root cause of fog and degeneration, this sounds perfect. But here is the trap. If you just take a spoon of turmeric powder and stir it into your black coffee, you are wasting your time and you are wasting your money. Curcumin has terrible bioavailability. This means your body struggles to absorb it. When you eat it, your liver identifies it as a foreign substance and flushes it out almost immediately. Only a tiny fraction, maybe 1%, actually reaches your bloodstream. To turn this spice into medicine, we need to hack your digestion. We need two specific keys to unlock its power. The first key is black pepper. I know, putting pepper in your coffee sounds strange, but you do not need much. Just a tiny pinch. Black pepper contains a compound called piperine. Piperine inhibits the liver's ability to flush out the curcumin. It essentially tells the liver, wait, let this pass through. Studies have shown that adding just a pinch of black pepper increases the absorption of curcumin by 2,000%. It is the difference between a placebo and a prescription. The second key is fat. Curcumin is lipophilic. This means it loves fat. It dissolves in fat, not water. If you put it in watery coffee, it clumps up. But if you mix it with fat, it binds to the fat molecules and is carried directly through the gut wall. This brings us to the final ingredient of our protocol. The element that replaces the milk, gives you a creamy texture, and fuels your brain. I am talking about MCT oil, or virgin coconut oil. MCT stands for medium chain triglycerides. Unlike other fats that make you gain weight, MCTs go straight to the liver and are converted into ketones. Ketones are a clean-burning fuel for your brain. If your neurons are tired, if they are struggling to process sugar, they can run on ketones. So here is the complete picture. You have the coffee for alertness. You have the cacao to open the arteries. You have the cinnamon to manage the sugar. You have the turmeric to stop the inflammation, and you have the coconut oil to absorb the spice and fuel the neurons. When you blend this all together, you are not just drinking a beverage, you are drinking a golden latte. It's creamy, it's rich, it's delicious, and every sip is working to repair the damage of the last 40 years. But now that you have the ingredients, you need the exact recipe. You need to know the ratios. If you put too much clove or too much oil, you will ruin it. Let's break down the daily dosage protocol and exactly how you should feel 7 days from now. The practical application. Here is exactly how to build your longevity coffee. I want you to write this down. Post it on your fridge until it becomes muscle memory. Start with your base, 8 to 10 ounces of organic, high-quality black coffee. Step 1. Add 1 full teaspoon of raw cacao powder. Not cocoa, cacao. This is your vasodilator. Step 2. Add half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon. This is your insulin stabilizer. Step 3. Add 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder. This is your anti-inflammatory shield. Step 4. Add just a pinch of black pepper. This is the activator for the turmeric. Do not skip this. Step 5. Add 1 teaspoon of coconut oil or MCT oil. This is the carrier for the spices and the fuel for your brain. Now, here is the pro tip. Do not stir this with a spoon. If you stir it, the oil will float on top and the spices will sink to the bottom. It will be gritty. Put it in a blender or use a handheld milk frother. Blend it for 20 seconds. The blender emulsifies the oil and the water. It creates a creamy, frothy, latte-like texture. It looks like a barista made it. The taste, it is rich, it is earthy. It has a hint of spice like a chai tea, but with the depth of dark chocolate. It is not sweet like a dessert. It is savory and satisfying. So what happens next? For the first 3 days, you might feel different. You might miss the sugar rush. That is normal. Your palate is adjusting. By day 7, pay attention to your body. Notice your hands. Are they steady? The jitters that usually come with coffee should be gone thanks to the calming effect of the fat and the cacao. Notice your energy. Instead of a spike at 8 a.m. and a crash at 10 a.m., you should feel a steady, burning ember of focus that lasts until lunch. Notice your joints. Many seniors report that the turmeric dose helps to ease the morning stiffness in their fingers and knees. This is the power of the naked coffee protocol. We stopped treating coffee as a guilty pleasure. We stopped treating it as a vehicle for sugar and cream. Instead, we respected it. We engineered it. We turned a simple daily habit into a sophisticated medical intervention. You drink coffee anyway. You're going to boil that water anyway. Why not make it count? Why not make every sip a deposit into your health account rather than a withdrawal? Go to the store today. Find the Raw Cacao. Find the Ceylon Cinnamon. Clear out the artificial creamers. Clear out the sugar cubes. Reclaim your morning ritual. Because when you fix your morning, you fix your day. And when you fix your days, you fix your life. I am your senior doctor. Drink wisely, stay strong, and I will see you in the next documentary.